Hello everyone. Today we'll be having a tutorial session on how to implement spectral based graph filters. We'll begin the session by importing some packages here. NumPy for operations with arrays, matplotlib for plotting, and we are importing a package called PyGSP or Py Graph Signal Processing, which will help us import some already built-in functions for graph signal processing. We'll set a random number generator here with a seed for reproducibility, and we'll be creating a random graph to be more specific, an Erdos-Renyi graph with 25 nodes and the probability value being 0.5, and it is an undirected random graph. Uh, we'll be computing the Fourier basis. So what do I mean by Fourier basis? If you do the singular value decomposition of the Laplacian matrix of the random graph here, the leftmost matrix, the U matrix containing the left eigenvectors will be your Fourier basis. And I will also be calculating the coordinates for the nodes in the graph to help us visualize the graph and how the signals are associated with each node. So what do you mean by signals here? Signals are nothing but features for each node in the graph, and in this tutorial session we'll be dealing with only a single feature for a node. I don't have any features associated with this random graph here, so I'll be creating a random signal based on the standard normal distribution. So I'll be having a feature value for each node in the graph. So I'm giving my size as g.n. The g.n attribute gives you the number of nodes present in the graph, and I'll normalize the signal. I'll multiply it with some integer or a float, and to generate different combinations of the graph signals. I'll be setting the limits for the graph signal to help us visualize the color bar here. Let's run it and see how it goes. I'm generating the signal here, and let's see how the graph looks like here. The x-axis and y-axis here represent coordinates of the nodes, and the color bar here represents the value of the graph signal. So you can see each node is associated with a feature value here, and this is what we call the vertex domain. So what happens in spectral filtering based approach, we'll be doing the Fourier transform. So Fourier transform essentially converts any object from a certain domain into the spectral domain. So here we are dealing with the vertex domain, and in order to do the filtering operation, we need to convert the vertex domain to the spectral domain, and we'll be doing that by using the operation here. So I'll just be multiplying multiply my graph signal with the Fourier basis here, and I'll be doing the filtering based on the eigenvalues of the Laplacian matrix. So, and we have a function here that is gamma, and that can be any function that you use to perform the filtering operation. So gamma can be essentially be your simple low pass filter. I'll come to that later, what is a low pass filter and what are the other kinds of graph filters that we are going to deal with here. So and spectral based filtering happens based on the eigenvalues of the Laplacian matrix. And again, what we need is, we can't do any of our feature learning or supervised learning in the spectral domain, so we need to convert it back to the original domain, that is the vertex domain here. So we'll be doing the inverse Fourier transform here. So this is the operation for the inverse Fourier transform. We'll be performing these steps now. So I'll be computing the Fourier transform the signal. There is a convenient function in PyGSP called GFT that computes the Fourier transform, and after computing the Fourier transform, I'll be again doing the inverse Fourier transform. So if you can notice here, I don't essentially do any filtering here. So I just want to know if I do the Fourier transform from one domain to another domain and convert it back to the original domain, there is no loss of information. So if I run this, here I'm checking if the reconstructed signal from the spectral domain is same or no. So let's run it. the answer is true. So both the signals are essentially same. So let's see what our graph looks like in the spectral domain here. So here in the x-axis we have our eigenvalues, and on the y-axis we have our Fourier coefficients, and this is essentially how our graph looks like in the spectral domain here. So as you can see, the signal is quite noisy. So what happens in filtering is it will smoothen out the signal. It will only retain important components, so that our feature learning process during implementing graph neural networks will be easier. So the weights and biases in the graph neural network need not adapt to different distributions, and need not adapt to the noise present in the feature vector itself. So we'll be doing the filtering process to retain only the important components, not the noise associated with the graph signal. So if you recall from the uh, previous lecture, this is how a traditional low pass filter looks like. So what do I mean by low pass filter? It is a cutoff based filter where any signal below the cutoff will be retained, and frequency signals above the cutoff will be discarded. So there is also a high pass filter which essentially does the opposite, where the if a frequency is above the cutoff, it will be retained. If it's below the cutoff, it will be attenuated. So this is the function for the low pass filter here, and C here should be a positive value. So I'm defining my low pass filter here, and I'm setting the cutoff frequency as 1. So all the values below the limit 1 will be retained. So, and we are defining something called the filter block here from the PyGSP package, where I pass in the graph and the filter function. So let me run it. I've defined the filter here, and what do I need to pass in as input to the function? So it will be the eigenvalues of the Laplacian matrix. So if I do the plotting here, again PyGSP has a convenient function to plot it, and I'm passing in my eigenvalues, and I'm setting a title for the plot here. We run it. So this is the filter frequency response. Again, the x-axis will be your eigenvalues of the Laplacian matrix, the y-axis will be your filter response, and this is the response here. As you can see, no signal above 1 is retained here. So what I want to do is, after obtaining this filter frequency response, I need to multiply it with the transformed signal in the spectral domain. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm passing in my eigenvalues. If you do g dot e, it will return the eigenvalues of the Laplacian matrix of the specific graph, and I'm calculating my gamma here, and I'll multiply it to the uh, Fourier coefficients. So this is how essentially the filtering happens. I'll be multiplying my gamma to the Fourier coefficients in the spectral domain, and if I want to reconstruct the original signal here, I need to convert it back to the vertex domain. So I'll be doing the inverse Fourier transform here. It's done. I'll be applying. So this is one way of doing it from scratch. And if you don't want to write all these codes, there is again a convenient function called filter in PyGSP that allows you to filter the Fourier coefficients. So let's see if both the approaches lead to the same value. It's true. So this is what essentially what happens in the filter function here in PyGSP. Let's plot it and do some analysis here. The orange line here represents our original signal, the green line here represents the filtered signal, and the blue line here represents the filter's frequency response. So as you can see here, the low pass filter has actually smoothened out the signal, eliminating all kinds of outliers, but there is a problem associated with it. The low pass filters or any other traditional graph filters per se doesn't know anything about the underlying data distribution. Let's say a feature vector based on a molecule data set, a chemical molecules data set might be different from the feature set for let's say a social media network. So the low pass filters doesn't have any idea about the underlying feature vector, and it just performs this filtering with the objective to smoothen the response. But this is not ideal. What we need to do here is we need to learn the parameters for gamma in such a way that it ideally represents the underlying data distribution of the training data set. So moving on, if this is how the filtered signal looks like in the vertex domain. As you can see, this is the same color bar with range -3 to -4, and see, most all the values are concentrated around 0 and 1. So this is how the filtered signal looks like in the vertex domain. So to learn parameters in a data driven way, there is a filter called the Chebyshev filter here. So it's a data driven polynomial filter. It is stable to perturbations in the learning process, and it involves the k-hop neighborhood here. So this is your 1 hop, this is your 2 hop, this is your 3 hop, and if you have gone through the polynomial filter here, there is the uh, if you have gone through the polynomial filter lectures, the polynomials, the basis of the polynomial are not orthogonal to each other, and it makes the learning process quite difficult. So the advantage of Chebyshev polynomials is that it can involve the k-hop neighborhood here. So it can, get an information about the graph structure based on the order of the polynomial here, the order of the polynomial here being k, and this is the expression for how to calculate the Chebyshev polynomials, and what will be our y here? Again, this will be the eigenvalues of the Laplacian matrix. So after obtaining the Chebyshev polynomial here for a given order k, we'll be multiplying it with a learnable parameter called theta. So the theta here can be learned in a supervised fashion, where the again you compute the gradient of the loss function with respect to theta here and do gradient descent to update the parameters. So essentially the parameters are learned from the data itself, and the filter has an idea about the graph structure based on the k-hop neighborhood here. So let's try to implement this. I'm defining a function here called the Chebyshev filter. It takes in the graph as input, the thetas, and the order of the Chebyshev polynomial. I get the eigenvalues of the graph here, and the to make our learning process more stable to perturbations, what we do here is we rescale the eigenvalues of the Laplacian matrix. So we rescale, and ideally we want the polynomial to have a range between -1 and 1, so that there are no outliers that can disturb the learning process and make the there are no exploding gradients here that can make us diverge from the optimal parameter theta. So I'm rescaling it here to the range -1 and 1. So I'll be initializing t0, so that is essentially 1, and t1 will be the eigenvalues itself, the rescaled eigenvalues. I'll be computing tk, so k being the given order in the function here, using a for loop here. So first I'll be calculating t2 based on given t1 and t0. Again, t0 will become your t1 and t1 will become your t2. This happens in a recursive way until we calculate t for the given order k. And I'll be doing all the summations of individual polynomials as this loop goes on based on the parameter theta here. So I'll be computing the polynomials, computing the filter coefficients, and I'll be updating the polynomials here. So let's run a simple example here. I'll be setting the order of the filter to be 3, and the dimension of theta will also be your order. I'll be generating theta from by randomly sampling from a standard normal distribution here, uh, to verify that this function actually works. I'll be computing my gamma here. I'll be passing in my graph, the thetas, and the order of the polynomial. Again, I'll be applying the filter to the Fourier coefficients in the spectral domain, and again, I'll be calculating my uh, signal in the vertex domain using the inverse Fourier transform. Run it. Okay, run it. Let's see how it looks like. As you can, so again, the blue line here represents the unfiltered signal. Uh, the frequency response of the filter is represented by the orange line here, and the green one represents our filtered signal. If you notice something here, it's not as smooth as the low pass filter, and it's not as noisy as the original graph signal. It kind of performs a trade-off by retaining only the most important components here, and this is not the ideal filtering case here, since I've randomly initialized thetas. So in the following tutorial, what you'll be seeing here is how do I learn those parameters theta by back propagating it through the supervised loss function. So we'll be dealing with a data set, let's say it's a classification or regression, and based on the loss function, I'll be updating my parameter theta, and until I reach the optimal theta, I'll be running my model here, and we'll be seeing the frequency response based on the optimal parameters and randomly initialized ones in the next tutorial. Thank you.